A woman came home to discover her husband had been unfaithful. The stranger in their home was utterly distraught, but Annie remained remarkably calm and collected. She grabbed her suitcase and began packing her things, determined to leave her husband and go her own way. Her husband, however, was unfazed. He believed Annie lacked the ability to support herself financially and would have to rely on him to get by. He was convinced that within a few days, she'd come crawling back home with her tail between her legs, but he had clearly underestimated Annie's resolve. Annie left the house and headed straight to the bank. She withdrew all her meager savings and grabbed a weapon for self-defense. Then she haggled with a group of men and swiftly bought a car. She took her 2 school-aged sons with her. Jack couldn't understand why they had to leave, but Annie explained that they were starting a new chapter in their lives. Their first stop was Boston, where Annie had arranged to meet Kenny, a former suitor. Annie figured that if she could win over this gentleman, she could re-enter high society and resume the luxurious, carefree lifestyle she once enjoyed. Kenny, who was usually so well-spoken and witty, was uncharacteristically silent and preoccupied. Annie did her best to comfort him, but he only lamented about how much of a failure his life had become. As Kenny grew more distraught, he pathetically asked Annie for money. Annie was mortified, and the stares from those around them made her squirm in her seat. Eventually, Kenny regained his composure, but Annie found the whole ordeal hard to stomach. She retreated to the restroom to process everything. She began to question her decision, but quickly wiped away the tears forming in the corners of her eyes. She thought of her 2 sons, fixed herself up, and returned to the dining room to find Kenny had vanished. Annie gracefully took her seat and began scanning the room for him. That's when she noticed her wallet had been tampered with. She picked it up and rummaged through it, only to discover all her money was gone. Just as the waiter was asking her to pay the bill, a military officer stepped in and came to her rescue. The officer was incredibly polite and gentlemanly, and just like that, they got engaged in a flash. But Annie never could have guessed. This movie is called One and Only. Due to copyright issues, this is all I can share with you. If you're interested, you can check out the original film for yourself.